Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Watford just battered United. I guess like I've been saying this for the last 4 weeks because every game we play and we're just getting battered by almost every team in the Premier League. Not at all a good performance again from United. It felt like after the second half when the substitutions were made, looked like United were going to come back into the game, but yeah, not so good finishes and some not so good performances, not so good decisions on the pitch, and yeah, we conceded about 2 goals in the 90th after the 90, and yeah, we lost 4-1. But to discuss all this, I have Macy from Devils United. How you doing, Macy? I'm guessing not good, but yeah, how you doing?
Minus the game, I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, minus the game, I think pretty good. But yeah, every weekend or every midweek that I have to sit down and watch a United game, I'm just already expecting that this is gonna be lost. But as we were talking like just offline, we never bet against our team. I still thought that Watford being Watford, we could have still won this game. I predicted a 3-1 victory for us, but yeah, it's not looking really good for us at the moment.
No, not at all. It isn't looking good, and you can't beat if you can't beat a game like Watford, who have recently got a new manager. Who's when you look at their squad overall, it's quite unbalanced because they've got more strikers players than they do have defenders and midfielders. So it's quite an unbalanced team overall. If we can't win against a team like Watford, what chance have we got against Chelsea next week, Arsenal the week after? We've got zero chance at all. It's absolutely disgusting. Um, do you know? I know a lot of people do blame Ole, and yeah, I understand people blaming Ole, but you need to look at the Glazers. You need to look at the board also because they have zero ambition about the club. If they had ambition about the club, because we are a competitive team, we should be competing for that first spot every single season, and especially with that squad what we do have, we should be expecting a lot more than what we are getting right now, and even a lot more than what we finished last season. We should have expected to be close. I always said we're not going to win the league because I
Really?
think we're
Yeah.
a couple of signings off that. But you need to look at we should be competing at like a closed gap between first and second, like 3-5 points, something like that. But instead, we're like what mid-table now, which is absolutely disgusting. The thing is, the board, the Glazers have zero ambition. All they care about is getting that top four. And and they've even said Ollie is staying unless there's zero chance of us getting into top four. And that's all they care about. And we're not a top four club. We're not Arsenal. We're not Chelsea. Because for me, I know Chelsea's a big club, but they could go ahead and not win the league, and that they'd be all right with that. And Arsenal's the same. If they're not in the top six, they'd be okay with that. But we're not like that, and we should be expecting a lot more when we've got Cristiano Ronaldo, we've got Varane, we've got Sancho. What more do we seriously need?
Yeah, I think you're spot on because the first half, when I saw the first half, it just felt like it's again going to be like a 4-0 5-0 victory, defeat to Watford, and that just it just didn't feel right. When the substitutions were made, it felt like United were coming back into the game. They had the chances. Obviously, you cannot blame any player on the pitch. It's just the man management, the decisions that are being taken by the club, the formations that he's playing, the players that he's not playing. He got in. They've changed the game for United. Van de Beek I feel like he was really good in the second half. What did you make of Van de Beek's performance in this game?
I thought he was really good in the second half. He got that goal. He near enough got an assist when Ronaldo's goal was disallowed as well. I think he was that little bit more energy. To be honest, he was very lucky he got away with a yellow or a red card on that tackle what he did make. But overall, I was very impressed. But I felt like he was, even though he was very impressive, I think he was trying a little bit too hard on the pitch, if you get what I mean, just because I think more he's not getting used by Ollie and he probably wants to make that impression to Ollie, like, I am this person who you can play. And he should have started. He should have started alongside Matic. That's what I would have personally done, because Scott McTominay is not fit to be in that midfield.
Yeah, I definitely think that. Is this now? We talked about, like, the Glazers are not caring about this club, obviously, because we've been saying that. I mean, we've been saying this for the last 4 weeks. Like, after that disaster performance against Liverpool, if he cannot still be sacked, I don't think he will ever be sacked. But I think it's just going, it's just getting embarrassing by the week, by the day, and we just need to figure out that maybe he is not the right man. Maybe there is something we just need. Like when we sacked Jose Mourinho and we just needed something good at the club, he got in, and I'm not going to come here and blame Oli for all these reasons, because he's done a good job to getting like stability within the club. But yeah, when you get in these stars, when you finish second in the previous season, when you get in these stars, you mentioned Sancho, Varane, Ronaldo, and we're still performing at the level we are, it's just not United. I'm saying on record, I said it the just before the previews, just before the Premier League started. I was never expecting United to get challenge for the Premier League title, but at least I was expecting them to go close, to expect them to expect them to challenge for the title, but I never expect them to win for the title. We're at this moment, we're going to finish outside top 10, maybe even battle for a relegation spot, the way we're playing. To win, to lose against a team who has not been winning in the last 4 games, against, even they're struggling against in Claudio Ranieri, to have them score 4 goals past us, it just shows us how shitty our defense is. There's basically no there's basically no momentum for us. There's no team chemistry. It's just Ole always been relying on these individual performances, that something will just happen. Maybe Ronaldo wasn't offside, maybe he would have scored, maybe it would have been a 2-2, maybe we would have just scored the winner after that. He's relying on those things. He's sitting on the gantry and just doing something with Michael Carrick on his iPad. I don't know what he watches. I always make fun. I will always make fun of Oli and say, I don't know if he does know what coaching is. I think he's just watching a bunch of videos on YouTube to see what tactic he can play just before the game. It just feels like that. There is basically no chemistry within the team. I did want to touch on Harry Maguire as well. There was a lot of discussion in the international break about him scoring in both the games. It was against Andorra, it was against San Marino. He did this celebration. What about now? He was shit, to be very honest. He was red carded. I'm not even talking about that. But before even that, he was shit. He isn't the Maguire that we got, right? That we got from Leicester. He was, and I looked up the stats for last season as well, and I said it. Yeah, maybe United were doing well defensively, but the thing was that the reason that these things were getting overlooked, because we were winning, right? With these things were never getting into the account that United had not kept a clean sheet in 21 games. I'm talking up until the Liverpool game. What do you think? What did you make of Harry Maguire's performance in this today's game?
Harry Maguire's performance was absolutely shambolic, and because he's that shambolic, he's making Lindelof look shambolic as well. Because I actually think overall Lindelof has been pretty underrated this season. He played good alongside Varane. Yes. But last season, when you look at Harry Maguire, he was that rock in the back line. And when he got injured, you could tell that he was missing. And we said, oh my God, we're nothing without Harry Maguire. And even I thought it. But Lindelof, what he has done, he's improved. He's improved with his heading. He's a better header than Harry Maguire now. He's better on his one-on-ones at the moment than Harry Maguire, and better on his tackling. So he's improved so much from the Europa League final to when he started for this season for Manchester United. Whereas Harry Maguire, he has gone backwards. I questioned at the very beginning, is it because of that lack of confidence, because we did lose in the Euro 2020 final? So it made me question, is it because of the Euros and you might feel a little bit low on confidence. But that should be the excuse. Mason Mount is still performing well. You've got Phil Foden still performing well. You've still got Declan Rice performing well. So there is no excuse whatsoever. And then you look at Harry Maguire. He got injured. He didn't have a training session. He come back. Or he had like one training session and came back. And I completely disagree with that. And that was a very poor move from the coaching staff and from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because the coaching staff clearly said he's well enough to go back into training, gave him that instruction. And then Ole's obviously gone and used him because he's thought, oh yeah, he's completely fit. But no, he's not completely fit. You need to have several training sessions if you've had an injury, no matter what. Even if it's a little small injury, you still need to build that stamina back up. And that's not what Harry Maguire has done. He's basically, safety is a fire here. He's put fuel in it during international break, doing all this, and this. And it angered me because I was like, how dare you do that? Because he's clearly doing it to Man United fans. How dare you do that to Manchester United fans, knowing that the form you are in? If you want to do that, you want to score against Albania, you want to score against San Marino, you do exactly that. But you come back to Manchester United and you put the same performances with us. And he didn't. It was absolutely awful yet again. So he may as well put his fingers back in his ears. Because he was absolutely shocking. Yes. And I read a quote from 𝗕𝗲𝗏. He said, yeah, you could do that celebration for scoring a goal, but your defender, let's see your celebration when you get a clean sheet.
Yeah, and those clean sheets or the goals doesn't even matter to me. Like they're playing against Andorra and San Marino. Like San Marino conceded 45 goals in their qualifiers. Like what did you even expect? They always play against San Marino and they always score 6 to 7 goals. To do this celebration, it's really not good.
No, it's not good. I think it's just overall very, very disrespectful to do that. You shouldn't do all this with your ears. At the end of the day, you are a Manchester United player. You have respect for your fans, and doing that shows lack of respect. If he come back, done that, and then he put on a world-class performance, I'd say, you know what, fair enough, you've improved. But he didn't. He had a yellow card, so he should have been extremely careful. And then he went and done that tackle again and got himself a red card. And I think, was you seriously not concentrating on the game? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Thinking.
I think United definitely have lost the plot here. It's just not looking like a United team anymore. They yes. I think within the team, I think they are having discussions of just having sacked Ole, because I keep reading these stories about Ronaldo and Fernandes actually talking to Ole and saying that why are these things happening? What is your plan? What is your contingency plan? Why is Donny van de Beek on the pitch on the bench and not playing when we know that there are things so much going wrong within that team? I still don't believe the formation that he plays. It's not the best for United based on the performances that we're having. We had a back five and City annihilated us. We play with two central defensive midfielders. We have 4 defenders at the back. We have David De Gea, and we still concede 4 goals against a team called Watford. That's just,
you know what though, Scott McTominay, he isn't even a proven CDM. He's not a proven CDM. It's only Matic who is that proper CDM at Manchester United. And you get Scott, you get Fred, you get Donny, whoever plays in that double pivot is playing in a role what they shouldn't be playing in, and they're playing into more the defensive when they're central. You look at Scott McTominay in the youth, he was playing in Bruno Fernandes' role. He was playing as a central midfield. You look at Fred for Brazil. He's got Casemiro and Fabinho next to him. I understand that, but he's still playing as a central midfielder, and he looks brilliant. But then I don't think the formation's right either, if you want me to be fairly honest. If you look at this formation, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays, and you look at all the other teams, apart from Liverpool, I would love to know what other team has won with that kind of formation. Because Liverpool do, but Manchester City play a 4-3-3. You've got Chelsea, they play the diamond formation.
Yes.
You get Arsenal, they've been playing like a 3-4-3 recently, and that's been working for them as well. But we're still playing as our double pivot, what does not work whatsoever. We was told off Ole before this, during pre-season, he is looking at a 4-3-3 formation. And we have not seen a 4-3-3 formation once. And why have we not used that 4-3-3 formation?
If he said it that he wanted to play that high line because of now Varane coming in, and obviously Varane's been injured. That's I get that, but you're correct to point that out. Like, even when Varane was actually playing with the team, we never saw that formation. He wanted to play that free flowing attacking football, but where is that? Like, I don't see that. But one question for you is, obviously, do you really think now Ole gets the sack, or you do still feel that he is still going to remain until the end of the season? Because if he doesn't get the sack now, I feel like we're going to lose against Villarreal, we're going to lose against Chelsea for sure. Arsenal's also going to pretty sure beat us as well, and that's 4 losses. It's already been 5 losses in the last 7 Premier League games. It can't go worse than this. Like, you can just keep on losing, and I said this at the start of the podcast. Like, every game that I see against United, I just feel that this is going to be a loss. I just don't see any wins coming in the coming months, and the games are going to ramp up. It's going to be the Christmas break. I don't know how United fans, how everyone is going to take this.
Of course, I've just checked the Premier League table as it stands as well, and we're currently in 7th place.
Yes.
Wolves are higher than us, and I thought Wolves were pretty disappointing this season. In 5 games, we've only won 1, and the rest we've lost. And you need to look at this. I don't think the Glazers have zero ambition whatsoever. I think Ole is going to be remaining. For one, if they really wanted him to be sacked, they would have done it during international break after the Man City game, because they would have had then till today's game to find a replacement, and that gives plenty enough time. And if, for example, they do sack him today, that gives 3 days until Villarreal,
Actually,
and 3 days till 2 days till Villarreal. And that is not enough, neither, to have 2 training sessions with a brand new manager. Because if he gets sacked, the number 2 tends to be the replacement manager until they find someone. And I don't think I particularly want Michael Carrick. I don't particularly want McKenna, and I don't particularly want Mike Phelan as that replacement backup manager until somebody else gets found. And if we do find a new manager, how long is that going to be? Who we're going to get? Because I doubt very much, because a lot of people are like, we want Ten Hag, we want Zidane, we want Poch, we want Brendan Rodgers. These names are all getting thrown out. Zidane, yeah, he hadn't got a club, but there has been no indication for me that Zidane would come to Manchester United, especially with his wife saying she doesn't want to live in Manchester. I don't think that's going to happen. You look at Ten Hag. He's a brilliant manager. He looks at youth players, which is something about Manchester United. However, what would the Glazers do? Would they pay him out of a contract? No. Brendan Rodgers, you look at him as well. Why would you really want? I know Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, but he hasn't had that Premier League success. He hasn't had European success. So why would you want Brendan Rodgers? And Poch, I'll just forget about him, full stop.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I have my doubts about Brendan Rodgers as well, because I feel like he's probably going to do a better job than Ole. But again, after the couple of years that he'll be in the job, it's the same things that are going to start, like sack Brendan, sack Rodgers, because he's not been able to deliver anything. I just have my doubts over him as well. We had one manager available in the name of Antonio Conte, but obviously Glazers did not want to appoint him because of all the stuff that he brings. He brings all those passion, and he will question the club when the things are not going right. At this moment, Ole just sits out and he just says, "Yeah, you do whatever you want, and I'm okay with that. You just tell me what I need to do." And he's just going to be that sweet child for Glazers, who's never going to embarrass them, who's never going to ask questions, who's never going to say anything against the Glazers. And I feel Glazers are really, really the people who are to blame for this, because they've been just sitting here and they don't care about the football that United are playing. They don't care if they are losing. Their ultimate ambition is, yeah, if we can reach the top four, we can play Champions League every season. That's all we care about. They don't care about like United's history. They don't care about United winning the league. They're not even as passionate. They don't even I feel like they don't even know the term football. They've
They
been
don't
sitting
know
in
the
the
club football.
they,
They
they
didn't
don't.
even know the age of Ronaldo when he came to Manchester United. They thought he was 16.
Yeah, exactly. So I just feel like at this moment of time, I don't even know if there is any other manager that who would want to come in and actually take this role. There might be people who might come in, but it just doesn't feel like what United and Glazers are looking for is like someone who can stick around for another 10 years and they don't have to sack him. They keep saying all these rubbish statements coming out saying that, we are going to back Ole, we support we support his project, we're going to back on his project, but the project's basically going nowhere. Ronaldo, we think if Ronaldo, if we get demoted to the Europa League, I don't even think Ronaldo's going to play in that. He's just going to outright say that I'm not playing in this league, and that's shameful on us. Like, because when we saw the group, we felt like, yeah, easy 4 wins, 5 wins easily, and we're going to be top of the group. And we're going to qualify for the Champions League. At this moment of time, I always feel like if Ronaldo wasn't there, we would have been at 0 points. It just feels like that.
Yeah. Sky Sports actually released what the Champions League table would look like without Cristiano Ronaldo, and we was actually at the bottom, and we only had around 2 points. So that just shows how much Cristiano Ronaldo is carrying the club. And you know what? When you have got Cristiano Ronaldo, I know this is going to be an argument for a lot of people, but he is one of the best players in the world. He's come back to a club who he loves, who has made him the person he is. I know a lot of people say Sporting, but he wasn't that big name until he came to Manchester United, and he learnt under Sir Alex Ferguson, who he calls dad. And then he's come back to get that United that little bit of success. If that was the Premier League, the Champions League, whatever he was planning on doing when he was obviously signing for Manchester United. And you know what? It's shambolic, and we're embarrassing him because Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to put up with this. If you want me to play, if we're in the Europa League, if we not even in the top 10 by January, I'll tell you, Cristiano Ronaldo will be saying to the board, I want to be sold.
And that would be embarrassing. If that happens, it's just going to be embarrassing for us. I just want to ask one last question about obviously the Ole supporters that are sitting with the clubs. Gary Neville, Ferdinand, all these ex-players have still been supporting Ole. Do you think that now it should stop? I feel I cannot hear one more word from Gary Neville saying Ole still is the best person for this job. I cannot hear it now. Like, it's over. He cannot come on record and say all these things that we're going to support Ole till he gets till he actually gets the sack, or till he's actually the worst manager in the league. I feel like he's already the worst manager in the league. I feel Norwich are now better than United.
You know what? I've actually been noticing recently Rio Ferdinand hasn't really been sticking up for Ole as much as the others have. Yeah. And from what I was hearing, why is because Cristiano Ronaldo was actually on the phone to Rio Ferdinand and was telling him how much the coaching is not great, what's going on with the club. And Rio Ferdinand's really against that because him and Cristiano are very close. So it's obviously going to take Cristiano Ronaldo's word for it because he's the one who's seen backstage, unlike these pundits. Gary Neville, he's just unreal because when you look at Jose Mourinho era, he was slagging off Jose Mourinho like mad. When Jose Mourinho said he has took the team all he could when we was second place, and he said no, how dare he say that? We're number one. We should be the one who's aiming for this title. And then he's trying to say this is disrespectful towards this club. But you know what? Jose Mourinho was right because second place is all we can get. And you know what? If Chelsea last season did not slack under Frank Lampard, if Liverpool didn't have all these injuries, do you think we wouldn't finish second place? Because I really don't think so.
Nope.
We wouldn't have. It's because so many teams slacked last season that gave us that opportunity to go through into second place. But obviously, Man City being Man City, they obviously went on that long unbeaten run.
Yeah.
But Gary Neville needs to open his eyes and realise what is going on. For me, I'm always one of these people. I will always back my manager no matter what. But when you're seeing shambolic performances week in, week out, it's just getting harder and harder to watch the game, to back the club of what is going on. Because I was one of them. I didn't want Jose Mourinho to get sacked. Because I was like, nah, you can't sack Jose Mourinho. But then when Ole came in, he started building the club. I thought, oh, well, this was a better thing then. Because look what he's doing. He's building up the club.
Yeah.
But then when you had Louis van Gaal, he got sacked 3 days later after winning the FA Cup. That's quite unfair. The difference is between both of these managers compared to Ole, they didn't have enough time for one, and for two, they had a half-built team and they didn't get backed by the board. How Ole has been backed by getting these world-class players. Because if we went before this transfer window in the summer, and I said to you, Cristiano Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho is coming in one season, how would you say? You wouldn't be like, nah, no, but no, you're like amazing, no way. And knowing that the fact we have done that, respect to this John guy, he's got the signings who we did need, but he didn't go to what United really did need, which is a CDM. Mm-hmm. And you do question, I do love Ronaldo, but was Ronaldo bought just simply because Manchester City was interested in him? Because he never said to Juventus, I'm leaving, I want to go to a new club, and all this deal in principle signing with Manchester City, I don't think he would have come back to Manchester United, if you want me to be fairly honest. And I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson would have rang Ronaldo saying, what are you doing signing for Manchester City and all that. It wouldn't have happened. He probably would have still stayed at Juventus. And we hardly sold any of these deadwood players who should have been sold in the summer. You have Jesse Lingard for one, who is coming out of a contract. He said he's been on and off all in the summer window. I want to stay, I want to go, I want to stay, I want to go, I want to stay, I want to go. We should have signed him off. We could have got 30 million from West Ham. Or Borussia Dortmund was another team who was interested in him. We could have sold him for 30 million. That could have gone towards the CDM, what we really needed.
Yeah.
Paul Pogba coming out of a contract, we should have said to him in the summer, if you don't sign a contract by the last week of this summer window, we're putting you on the market. Because some PSG was interested in Paul Pogba during this window and wanted to buy him, I think it was for 40-50 million. I would have rather got 40-50 million out of Paul Pogba than letting him go on a free this summer window.
Exactly, and that's why I've been saying that, somebody is actually, I don't think Ole is actually making all these decisions. It just feels like somebody's actually, behind his ear and telling him what to do and what not to do, because it just feels like he's not. He said it right before the season started that we are going to give Donny van de Beek some time, because I think on the deadline day Everton we found some reports that Everton were actually looking for Donny van de Beek's signing on deadline day, but he refused to sell him because he said, I'm going to give him more time this season. What about Jesse Lingard? You said West Ham were in for him. They didn't sell it to him, as you said, that if those two signings if they had sold them, that money could have gone to a proper CDM and not have to play McTominay or Fred, because as we mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's both of them are, I feel like they're much better going forward rather than actually staying as a CDM, because they're not CDMs. As you mentioned, we only have one proper CDM, which is Nemanja Matic in the team. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. And with Donny, I think Donny was bought as a panic buy for Manchester United 2 seasons ago. Because when you look at it, all these rumours were going about Paul Pogba was going to Real Madrid. And I think it was near enough going to be happening. And we went for Jack Grealish. Aston Villa went 90 million, 100 million, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, nah, no way we're paying that for Jack Grealish. And then obviously Van der Sar is obviously had Donny at the time, and they probably Donny van de Beek. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's only 40 million. okay, we'll get him instead as a Paul Popper replacement, and I think that's exactly what he was. So, because obviously Ole's going to make these recommendations going, I want this player, I want this player, I want this player. But then obviously that's down to the board then to say, get these signings or not. But I think he wasn't recommended by Ole, and he probably was bought as more that panic buy. Yeah. And in terms of Scott and Fred, it's a really weird situation because how I would describe Fred, I call it a toxic relationship. I just describe it as that, and for this reason, why I describe it as that kind of a toxic relationship is because when they're together, they're rubbish. But
yes,
when they're not together, they're even more rubbish.
Yeah.
And when they're together, Bruno Fernandes is better. And then when they're not there, Bruno Fernandes is terrible.
Yep.
So I'd describe it as a toxic relationship because that's how I see Fred in that midfield role.
Yeah, it just feels like, I'm gonna end this here, but I just feels like any other manager will be able to take a little bit more out of these players. We're not the team who loses 5 games in the last 7 Premier League games. We're not that team. I think we're definitely much better on paper. We can definitely beat Watford, man. Come on, like you cannot lose. And I would have again taken it if it was a close game. It was ever 2-1 win, and a 2-1 win for Watford. But the way they played, it just felt like this scoreline is justified for them. It's not even saying that they didn't play well and they don't deserve all this. They were lucky in scoring goals. They scored some really, really good goals. They scored after they played really well after the counter. They sustained that pressure during that about 15 to 20 minutes when United were actually on the upper end, on the upper side of the game. But yeah, I was just talking to my brother over here, and I told him, like, I just want United to say that we have sacked. I don't want to even listen from a press conference side of you that what Ole has to say. I don't want to listen to anything right now. I just want the United board to say that, yeah, he is gone. We're done. We're going to bring an interim manager for now, and then we'll see who we can bring in for the longer period. But that being said, thank you, 𝗲𝗍, again for joining in at the Late Winner Show, providing your reactions of the game. I know all of us United fans are not happy with the game that happened, but thank you again for coming on to the Late Winner Show.
Thanks for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure being on.
And we'll leave the links in the description below for 𝗲𝗍's Devils United channel as well. So please make sure that you do subscribe to Devils United. Great content on only United. So definitely go out and check that out. We'll leave the links in the description below for our channels as well. And we're going live with we're doing our audio podcast as well. Just so you know, we're going to be going live by tomorrow. So do check out that as well on your favorite streaming platform. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for all kinds of loads of content that's coming on the Late Winner Show. That being said, 𝗲𝗍, thank you so much again, and I'll see you very, very soon.